as a token of appreciation for your valuable time. Shri Kreko Atili, District Manager, Lead Bank, Bokchong and Grooming. Sir, I would like you to kindly accept this small gift as a token of appreciation from the OKM. Shri S. Amarjit Mangang, TTM, Napar, Bokchong. And lastly, but not the least, Dr. B.M. Sinha, Chief Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Officer, Bokchong. Thank you all so much.
Tanda Iba Sendono Mungtang Meren Deputy Commissioner, Asir Lenierton, Jawaliwat Sendamarton, Marasir Tierton, Punaka, Sendavalier, and Rajatan. Unir mendenungi, moderator mendenungi, pelasisya artizagar. Taniba semerti ubah sendenu, tanah ubah sendu, ubah panel discussion da agazugo, ni ke ushnuko ni adama ibaya ulang cipta sendu da ajar, asir. Iba sendu hendak Natasha Unsebalir kena berangsa ibu mabangki talangga menanaji sahaja iba mak sendu mengundang uji dan tempat ujian memang memberi nang waduper asyik lagi unit siadungi linear dan buinaka disyita jauh balir dan banyak kawan ibang nisung hanya iba senden ajanaya asin segu asyik asin lima lenisa kacang sendu awza sosial dan ikan asapa bener awza Welcome to the second session of a 38th Umanggung Bungtang convention or conference, I should say. And in this panel discussion, we have very resourceful people holding different capacities in different organizations. I want to take the privilege of introducing them first before we switch over to the panel discussion. First, on my left, we have Mr. Kreko Atili. He is the lead district bank manager for Bokchong and Longling. And second, we have Mr. S. Amarjit Mangang, district development manager, NABAR, that is National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, Bokchong. He looks after altogether 5 districts. Yes. He looks after 5 districts and he holds a very important position. Congratulations. Thirdly, we have in our midst Dr. B.M. Sinha, the Chief Veterinary and Animal Husbandry Officer, Bokchong. He is a very resourceful person and he is very sufficiently and efficiently goes beyond his own profession. He is from the background of animal husbandry, but be it in a church or in social service or in a business or any other, you name it, he can be a very successful player in whatever responsibility we give. Sir, thank you so much for being with us. We are really expecting a lot from you. We're going to have a wonderful time. To begin the panel of discussion today, I want to start asking a very simple question. That is, as to how, to all of you, first to Mr. Atili, how did you get into this profession?
Actually, I was trying for competitive exams, and there are many competitive exams, and the way you prepare for that exams is different for every job. You can't prepare at one go for all type of job. Either UPSC, if you are preparing for IELTS, way of preparation is different. If you are preparing for other SSC, way of preparation is different. For banking, way of preparation is different. Because the question they ask is the way after you get job, what type of jobs you're going to do. Based on that, they'll ask. If you're not prepared to work for that job, you won't even have patience to prepare for that job. So the first thing is, what will need
Changing or renewing our mindset. Here in banking, you enter with a different attitude. We need to change. Many of us are here looking at the topic, oh, bankers are here. As many as 2 persons, that is 70% of the resource persons are from banking. So maybe I will be able to get an opportunity to borrow money from banks. That means I'm not saying you should not borrow money. Banks are made for lending money. But if we have this attitude of only receiving, we need to change our mindset a little bit. Sir, coming to Amarjit Mangu, would you be able to tell us in short, how did you get into this?
Very good afternoon to everyone. First, at the outset, I would like to congratulate the Student Union for organizing this function and having me for this program. Actually, I never thought that I would work in the bar. Maybe my father was a farmer, so I was destined to work for the farmers. So the bar happened by chance. And to be very frank, I was lucky because I was surrounded by good friends, and my teachers were always there. Till now also, I'm always in touch with my high school teachers, university teachers, and everyone. They were always there. The bar is my 5th job in my career, after completing my education. I just came from a lower middle class family. My mom was the only breadwinner. She was a primary teacher, retired very recently as a graduate teacher. My father is always in the field. So I have exposure of field work also because of his influence in my life. I will always been with him. So I never get, because of my family economic status, could not get exposure of my education beyond money. I'm from Nepal. So I was born to study everything in Manipur only. But when I start working in various organizations, and now many of my friends study in high class institutions, big institutions. Why I'm saying is that since it's a students' association function and meeting, it all depends on you. Okay, your product, your grooming is always important, but it boils down on your individual capacity and capability, how you grow in your life. It doesn't mean that you cannot get into a good institution that you won't make it in your life. It is up to your hard work, your patience, your focus, your dedication. So like I said, I was surrounded by good friends also. This is very important in our life. You should always try to have good people around you. I'm not saying that we should be doing like that. We should also learn from many other people in our lives also. We have experience with bad people. That is also very important to grow in your life. So it happened like that only. I wrote out, studied, and gave different type of exams, and now I end up in a bar. But luckily for me, like I said, in the interview when I cleared my exam, prelim and mains, when I went to the interview, they saw my father's occupation, very lucky, farmer. So that helped me a lot, because they were interested to know, as a farmer's son, how can you go about agriculture. I'm a commerce student. Agriculture is a very far subject from me, but because of my experience of my having always been associated with my father and helping him around, it helped me a lot. So sometimes luck also plays a very important part in your life, but without hard work also, luck will not accompany you. So this is how I ended it.
All right, thank you. Dr. B.M. Sinha, we would like to know in brief.
Thank you for this time, and also thank you, OKM, for inviting me as an analyst here in today's program. For me, entering my career in this profession was not an ended. But since childhood, I was mesmerized with the prefects. Prefects of the doctor. So, I didn't know what I should study, but since my childhood, my aim was to become a doctor one day. Which kind of doctor, I don't know. 2005, I realized that it was my calling. It was my true calling. Out of nowhere, somebody, it was from after a program where we attended together. I have not told you this. And I was going back home. Stopping on the way, waiting for something. Out of nowhere, a voice told me, what am I doing there? Before I could answer that, the same voice asked me, why have you studied veterinary science? I was, dumbfounded. But again, the same voice told me, for this we are studying. And I knew from where I was coming. And I knew what I was doing there. So since then, my perspective in life changed. And it's not about animals. It's about farmers. It's about students. It's about economy. And it's about the very health of our personal life. So, when I realized that I was in the right way, there and then, all those started coming to my mind. And that's how I have been able to, help and educate people up to my ability and capacity. Wherever I have the privilege, I go there and then I share those things. And so that's how I am here, and I'm very, very thankful to God that He has given me this privilege to be a veterinarian today. And through that, I can help any kind of people, at least with the little knowledge that I have, so that not only the economy, but their personal health and family health and even their spiritual health are being, helped and able to go in that direction. So that's how I am.
Thank you, sir. Dr. P.M. Sinha, jack of all trades, doctor of many. And I believe we'll be benefited a lot today. And to switch over to the next section of our discussion, sir, Mr. Attorney, you as a lead bank officer, what role do you play as a lead bank officer? And in what way are you going to, or are you benefiting the society?
The role of lead bank is to look after the whole bank in the district. Either private bank, corporate bank, public sector bank, all the banks present in the district. So here, the main focus is on priority sector, lending. So how much the bank has lent? So like to the farmer for priority sector. So I'll have to give budget of those priority sector lending to the farmer in the district, and out of that budget, how much they have achieved. I'll have to collect the data. In every 3 months, I collect the data. We used to have district level consultative meeting along with district. Deputy Commissioner will be the chair, I'll be the convener. Even all this number, veterinary, and agree and elected, all the head of the department in the district are the members of that. So, in case if any bank doesn't give loan properly, we ask their reason why you could achieve all this. So we try to push up, giving more lending to priority sector. And the other thing is that I'll have to coordinate with developmental agencies of government, like agriculture, veterinary, soil, horticulture, all those departments who are with agriculture and the priority sector. I'll have to coordinate with them, and I'll have to make linkage between the developmental agencies and the banking. and the bank.
Others, but before that, how is your bank different from other banks being led by Mr. Yours is also a bank, and then some banks led by Mr. are also banks, but how do they differ?
The part for the information of our students, our bank, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development Bank, is the best development bank of the country. We are dedicated for uplifting the economic status of the rural sector. And we are a supervisory bank. Like other commercial banks, private banks, we don't do business directly with individuals. We do business with the banks, we do business with the government departments for uplifting the rural economy.
Enlighten us on the definition of developmental agencies. You said you are tying up with the developmental agencies. So what are these in our context? What are these developmental agencies? Does it mean only the departments under state government? Yeah, because I'm asking because there are other developmental agencies and other organizations who are so much dedicated to uplift of the social or rural economy. For example, there are not many churches. Are you tied up with them also? Or by definition you are, subscribing only to government departments?
I think it's normally bank directly, my role is developmental agencies with government, state government. And then tying up with churches or maybe any NGO that is like all will come under it. They can have like understanding type. In case if previously through churches, bank gives money. And in that, churches monitor the borrower. And they took responsibility and collect back and repay them. So in that way, they appreciate those. And if NGOs come and volunteer for all those things, then will be much happier to give those beneficiaries instead of thinking.
For example, today, following this meeting today, if the OEM forwards itself to play the role of supporting agency, not receiving a group, okay, but to give support to the activities of the bank. There is a way out. There are avenues also, possibilities are there. Suppose the OEM says, we are not here to borrow money from you, but then we are here to support you. Tell me in other words, if you come up like that. What you are saying is the doors are not closed. There can be possibilities, depending on the modalities you are going to design.
Yes, for rubber, we are dealing in agriculture sector, and OKM is strictly custodian period, right? So agencies who want to volunteer, they are always welcome, because we always need our social organization to change the mindset and to help and reach out about the schemes and policies to the people. So they coming forward to help us out is always welcome. And coming to your first question, when we talk about development agencies, from the part perspective, we are development agencies include our government departments and research institutions like KPK, Atma are also involved. NGOs is also under there. We are also partnered with village development boards. So all these are development agencies which we are working. Farmers group, cooperative societies. These are all our, they are all development agencies. They are all coming forward to do some development, right? So we call them as development agencies. And then coming to OKM coming forward, like I said, we only work with registered entities. So I'm not very sure how our OKM, whether it's registered or not. Even if it's registered also, especially for Nepal, since we are working for agriculture sector and even in rural sector also, because when we talk about rural sector, agriculture is also included in rural sector. We we are talking about skilling of rural youths also. We are providing a lot of training and capacity building, our SCGs, our rural youths and all this. Very recently also, to minimize the impact of corona, those corona returnees, I have given training in Mon. One agency in Mon, NGO, has applied for this training on motor mechanic and plumbers strictly for the corona returnees, so that they can have some employment opportunities. So we give like that. So if OKM is interested in skilling the students, so that not only white collar jobs, they can do so many other entrepreneurial activities. Only after getting training only, you can get a proper loan also. Because bank cannot provide loan just like that also. You may be a very hardworking, dedicated student, but if you don't have the capacity to absorb the loan, then we can't give you the loan. Because our money is public deposit. We don't get any support from anyone. Central government does not give money to the bank. We are mobilizing it from the public, and we are giving it as a loan to those people who require the loan, and strictly for doing income generating activity, not for consumption. So what happened here is that I'm speaking on behalf of the banks, because I'm giving a lot of pressure to all the branch managers to give loans, especially in my priority sector area. So I'm setting a target for all the banks that this much of loans should be given in the priority sector areas, and for that the bank can always take help from the line departments. Because when we talk about agriculture loans, we know KCC is there. Everyone just come and apply KCC loan. I feel that this is not the right way. We should first discuss with the agriculture department. You should also know which type of crop you want to grow, because there are so many climatic changes going on. There are so many extension facilities required for yourself. Because since we don't do all these things, I'm just citing the example of KCC because it's a very popular loan. If you take up any income generating activities, Kisan Credit Card.
And what is that about?
That is strictly for farming loan. If a farmer wants to take loan for growing any crop, any type of crop, you will apply loan, but in the bank it will come under KCC, Kisan Credit Card.
And that farmer has to be any farmer without being registered?
Yes, any individual farmer, which is but having doing some cultivation activity, the government, village council and PDBs used to certify them that they are farmers, they are holding this much of land. There are so many requirements of bank loan procedures.
Okay. My supplementary question is, prompted by this program, today's program, I have been chatting with some bank managers in the town. Not all of them though. And I discovered that about 40 to 50% of the loanees, they prove themselves as defaulters. And the worst is Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, BMEG, alright. Other loanees, the percentage of defaulters in other loan system is about 30 to 50%. But BMEGB, it is to the tune of 85 to 95%. So, failures are there. Now, I would like to ask, what could be the reason for such failures? And also, what are your selection criteria for beneficiaries?
Here, every year in the district of Lokoto, not less than 100 beneficiaries used to have BMEG. That is to set up a small scale industry, like maybe strong crusher, maybe a small factory or manufacturing, all those things. So by now, from 20 years till now, if all those beneficiaries are utilizing all those things properly, how many small industries will be here in Wabakan district? 1 year, not less than 100 beneficiaries. But here the problem is, they took it loan and diversion of funds. They took it the money, but they didn't set up what they're supposed to do. That is one.
Okay. That's how the corporate style of functioning comes in. collective together. Some will be in the field, some will be in the factory, some will be in the marketing, some will be in the advertisement. You see, those kind of relationships you need to build it up and work on it. Then you know, there will be a lot of stakeholders from different walks of life. That's how we will be able to penetrate the market. Those are important things. In our course of discussion, we will be hearing almost all the time the nomenclature of agriculture. Not a single agriculturist is sitting here, but we will be talking about agriculture. Why? Because agriculture is the mother of all culture, including traditional culture. Okay? You have to remember that. And without the nomenclature of agriculture, we cannot do anything. We get everything from the soil. Oxygen is coming from the trees, which is from the soil. Anongji, what kind of venture you grow into, it's from the soil, and agriculture is the primary sector. So unless we understand that, we will be nowhere. Okay? So with that understanding, I think we have to, carry on. Some of you are doing now, carry on. Some of you are planning to do now, carry on. With that understanding, then we will be able to succeed. Okay. I don't know whether that I've clarified your.
We'll come back to that again, right? Later. That'll be connected to it. Questions and answers coming up later. Okay? There will be a lot of flashbacks here. Coming to that previous question, how do you determine the genuineness of an applicant?
People you read tonight, tomorrow you start planning to start that business. Day after tomorrow you go to bed and ask for the loan. People don't know. The first sign should be that you should try to start with your own resources. At least continue running for 1, 2, 3. Struggle. And then, if you think that there is a financial gap between the requirement and the financial you have in your hand, between the project cost and your hand, then you go and do. That shows that you are trying, you are struggling, and that is a good sign that you are doing. And the other thing is that proper documentation. We do with any business, we start any project without any document. We need to have, in case if you want to start a business should be registered. We should have tag number of that under that business, like PAN card. PAN card is a permanent account number for individual person. And tag card is a temporary account number for establishment. So through that, you will get even GSTIN. So in case of any that is the good service tax. So the tax that we're giving to the government, it will be through TAN, linked with TAN. So in case of any deduction there, that is GSTIN. So that we need to have all those proper documents. And PAN card of proprietor, Aadhaar card number, residential, everything, because our people will lack proper documentation. And that is why we can't even have a loan from the bank. Bank require all documentation. And one thing is that once you start with a small amount of loan, you repay, you can go up higher, and you can continue the relationship even for 50 years. The first thing is starting the initial relationship between bank and individual is very difficult. Once you develop the trust between you and the bank can help you in a very big way. Once you have a proper plan. When I was a branch manager there at Chumukidima branch, one customer came. Right before I finished 1 month in that branch, he came to us, introduced himself. And on this, I am a high HNI customer of your bank, of your branch. High net worth individual.
Sister here, since you're asking about the business loan, see, like I said, I'm speaking on behalf of the bankers. For any income generating activity, bank always give loans. Okay, so you have to have a proper banking plan. What you want to do, what type of activity you want to invest, whether that particular business you're identifying has proper market or not, whether you can get profit or not. That will be already listed out on your project banking plan. Okay. So on the bank will assess whether the project is viable or not, whether it is feasible or not, technically feasible, economically viable. All these things will be checked in the banking plan or business plan. And then whether you have the right capacity, that I told you that you should have the capacity to run the business. Okay, even though you know that business is going to earn you profit, but you don't know how to run the project, then bank will not give you loan. So for that you need all those skill set, all those knowledge and information with you. But what is common everywhere is, I mean, please don't take this offensively. Everyone is interested in loan, which we should be, because without business, the economy will not grow. Even bank also cannot grow without giving loan. Okay. Yesterday also in a meeting in Twencha, our auction bank is running losses for the past 4 or 5 years. They give loan, no one repays the loan, and they don't have any deposit also. So now it is coming, the branch manager is literally on her knees yesterday, begging that my bank is going to be closed if I continue like this. He was asking the district administration and everyone to give support. So only way out is mobilization of deposits. Without deposits, you can't give loan. So when you take up your business loan, the bank will only, because see, the scenario is even if you take 10,000 loan, no one pays. Okay, it's a small amount, but if you take loan, you take it for granted. So how can bank trust other people? Now, there's so many MBS lying in our agriculture sector also. So in order to build your trust with the bank, the relation with the bank, you should start with your saving habit. You should inculcate some saving habit in yourself. So since you all are students, you have a long way to go. You can plan from now. So you start saving money, you maybe 50 rupees in 10 days or weekly or monthly. Once you start depositing in the money in the bank, in your account, I think everyone has a bank account, right? Under Prime Minister Jandan Yojana. Everyone has already opened an account. So if you have an account, you start going to the bank and start depositing money in your saving account. Okay. So that saving account can be used as almost like a guarantee to take loan from the bank also. But though it's a small amount, you may be depositing only 100 rupees per month. The branch manager will know you. The branch will start recognizing you that this girl, this boy, this student, this particular person has a habit of saving money. He understands this importance of saving. Okay, and some people used to say that how will I save money when I don't have income? Okay, when I don't have a source of income. But my suggestion is there's always way to, you may not earn now, but you're consuming things, right? Even whether you're getting money from your family, friends, or you're buying things, you can cut down on some unnecessary stuff. At least you will cut down your expenditure. You may not have income or you may not be able to increase your income, but you will at least cut down the expenditure. We used to cite the example of like, for example, if you take pan also, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not saying pan is a necessary thing. People eat pan a lot. If you take
to the uplift of the society in economy, if they come up and say, look, we are going to the ground realities of the situation, and we will certify some genuine beneficiaries or applicants, and we want you to support them. If such things are developed in our society, will it help? Because the applicants takes time to convince the bank to have trust in him. But there is a, for example, there is a third person who says, we know them, right? We know her, we know him, he's constructed like this, and if they fail, we are there. If someone comes in the middle, in order to speed up the growth of economy, in order to save time, in trying to build up trust between the takers and the givers, can such a mechanism be welcomed?
In bank, verbal is not available. So in case a person wants to come and help, if he or she becomes a customer, willing to do that will be. But otherwise, we have joined their. So in that, 3-4 people or 4-5 people can come together and do the guarantee of each other without any external guarantee. Among them, they can do guarantee among themselves and borrow their money from bank and do their work properly. In case out of like 5 persons in the group, if one person thinks be paid, another 4 people is ready to be paid. That is called joint guarantee, which is not practicing in our area. So that if we can start doing all those things, it will be a good product. Because in bank there are thousand products, but many are not fitting in our people. To our society. Plus, many products were not aware. Say like contract farming. Farmers, if they can engage with some companies, and those companies can fix the price before they produce the agricultural product. And whether the market is whatever the situation may be, they're going to pay that 80 rupees per kg or 70 rupees. It is a predetermined price. So even those things, if we can arrange with the company will come and collect from them and take back. So we don't need to arrange that.
So without doing much, investing much of this labor or other investment, this businessman is getting around 70 to 80 rupees per kilo profit. The middle. So from then, the Dimapur guy, retail agent, will send it to Siliguri company, and there he sells from 400 to 450. And then from Silchar, I am told that it can go up to 600 or 800 per kg. So now, if the farmer ultimately we are the consumers, right? I am paying 800 rupees per kilo of cardamom, but my farmer is getting paid only 270. More than 500 has been missed in the middle, consumed by the middleman. So if we want to increase the income of our farmers, we have to take away one or two middlemen from this entire marketing chain. I was suggesting during the discussion with my friends also that entirely taking out the middlemen is not also possible, considering our infrastructure bill. At least we have to have one or two middlemen in between us. So if we minimize the middlemen, we will increase our profit. So what we did is that we formed this farmer producer organization, and all these 500 farmers contributed 500 rupees as a shareholding amount, and this amount we keep it in the bank as a deposit, because with this we are going to use for procuring of cardamom in their particular block. So they have contributed 500 each, and whoever is producing cardamom in that area, we are buying it from them, and we have signed an MOU with a particular company in Silchar, and we are directly dealing with them. That is possible because the farmers have formed themselves into a cooperative society. They have registered, now can become a legal entity. Since you become a legal entity, you can enter into an agreement with any company. So my suggestion is, if you go alone, that's why in every Nabar community-based program is to say, like, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go very far, go together. So this is the mantra of cooperative.
Before I answer that, I want to put something from a different perspective regarding the margin chain, and of course that is linkage with that also. Now, what Amarjit have said example, cardamom, organically grown. And whatever products we are sending out from the state at present, under the tag of organic, because it's from the hills in speaking, we are sending it all organic. But be it us, all those people in Indonesia, they are taking food twice a day, which is grown by using synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, which means it's not organic. It's an irony. It's an irony. We are producing organic products and we are selling it outside, but whereas we are eating, consuming unorganic products. It's very funny, but that's the reality. Why? Because we are talking and discussing and thinking about exporting things without having food security for our kitchen. Forget about your family, your other siblings. Just think about your immediate family, your brothers and sisters, father and mother, in your immediate family. Do you have food security at your home? What kind of food products are we eating? We are all eating good foods. They have brought us good tea. But is it organic tea? We don't know what is there in the rice. We don't know what is there in the bitadil. We don't know what is there in the dal. And the result is geriatric problem, hypertension, diabetes, cancer. The worst thing is young couples cannot bear child. Tanu busura, alli kibur ada, umpau nomor ada tu, tak terus sih umbo, siapa lagi tu? That's ground reality. That's ground reality. Anuji, do you have an organic kitchen? From there it is. Okay, from there it is. Nothing wrong doing cash crops. But what about the other side? It has to be the two faces of the coin. But we are just thinking about the other side of the coin. Making more money, so that what we do? To go to Dimapur, to Guwahati, to Delhi for treatment, isn't it? The resources, the money, the salary, the income we receive is not meant primarily, basically not meant for ministers or hospitals. It is for your family to grow. But at times when problem strikes, you will use it. That's the situation. Now, coming to that cucumber. Do you think if the farmers know what is organic? Do you know what is meant by organic? Just because somebody speaks organic, everybody, our concept is whichever crops grown in the hills is organic. No. Even the vegetable grown in our own backyard may not be organic. You have to build a concrete, pit for it, whereas you are living in a thatch house. You don't have enough water to drink, but every day you have to, shower water and then, make it into an island instead. I'm not against that. It is important, needed. But for us, the easiest method for the soil rejuvenation is we have enough livestock, see, pigs, cattle, goat, chicken. Use that. And for special crops, use the compost. That's okay. No problem. And but for non-dwellers, there is no way out. With your kitchen waste, you start producing your compost. It is very helpful.
Okay. You have any more questions? It's a wonderful opportunity today. You stand up, show your face, ask a question to the papers, get the answer they have given you, take that answer, go to the bank tomorrow, meet them. Do not fool around here. Come on.
Many are struggling.
Yeah.
Many are struggling.
That's what.
So for fresh, of course, it will not be easy. When people come to me for asking for projects or for ways and means to how to get a loan, I ask them, what is your experience? They have hardly any experience. Eating, they have a lot of experience. But reading, they have a lot of experience. So straight away, I ask them, do you have local chicken at home? They said, yes. How is it? It doesn't do well. Many times, they
simply dies off. So I tell them, you see, knowing your situation, God has provided you with country chicken. Free, of course. You don't know where it came from. Even if you are poor, you have forgotten it. But you are not able to manage it. Unless you are able to manage your country chicken at home well, forget about your business. You'll not be able to manage even your own children. I tell them straight in the face. Somebody might have not liked it, but you know, that's the truth. Because I want to see that he has a change of mindset and with renewed determination to proceed on. Because this is about survival. Decades back, for our community we have done survival work, isn't it? For the nation we have done it. What about your family? What about you personally? What survival work are you doing? That's a big question. We will not be able to answer that. You have to answer it. Maybe on the basis of what discussion we are doing today. If not, because see, you may not rear animals, you may not, do other business, other things. Your interest may be different. But the principles are same, okay? Principles are same. You have to sell your ideas to the bankers so that you avail loans. Just having your interest will not do. You have to sell your ideas to them. You have to, your project should be convincing to them. They are my friends. But they cannot give me loan because number one, I don't have a bank account. I'm not interested in bank accounts. You see? Or I may have my bank account, but it is not active. It's alive but not active. You see? He may know me, but the State Bank of India, the Cooperative Bank, the institution doesn't know me. They know that I am dormant or I am multi-debt. That's the problem. That's the problem. So here, I would like, our OKM from all the different units to see that all the eligible youngsters, be it a boy or girl, start operating bank accounts in the morning and keep it active. 100 rupees, okay, it's okay. Na itang deposit sir kiba no ATM na kiso aja maso takam lir sa ko. It should be like amount maso takam lir. Which means the bank knows that you are doing some active work. When it is 100 rupees, 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees, that's all. It has to be like. Then only bank will be able to. If you cannot sell your dreams to them with all the answers, they will ask for your documentation. You have documents ready, and when you show it them, there is no way out. They'll be, they are convinced and they will be willing and forceful. With that understanding and mindset, I think we should begin with. And then what kind of profession, activity you would like to carry on. Now we are talking about cardamom in the neighboring districts. If you want to go for that, that's okay. If you ask me personally, I said, no, don't do it. When others are doing that, why should we also do that? Do something different. Nothing. In many instances, they come drunk. They come smoking. The others who they smoke, they chew, they drink. But when they worship, they worship. And they do business ethically. That's how they grow. But here, we don't do that. We are trying to find security of our lives, of our survival. So, my message to you all, and to those who have the privilege of viewing in other medias, remember God in your activities. Do it ethically, morally, and honestly. Then
There will be no problem about, unable to repay back loans or trying to bribe your way out. Those things will not happen. So I wish all the best for our Grooming students to be the pioneer, not only yesterday, not only today, but even tomorrow. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Their success in life depends on how we're prepared to accept that response. Even if we want to do a particular thing, if we can't accept or if we're not prepared to take the responsibility, we will not succeed. An IAS officer becomes IAS because he can handle the pressure of the top management. He can handle the pressure of the public. He can communicate with his lower officials. That is how he prepared to accept that responsibility, and he could become an IAS officer. Every student knows the same struggle. Yet, some people become IAS officials. Some people become PM. Some people even become clerk. Or some people become entrepreneurs. So, the only success in life depends on how prepared you are. The urgency to accept the responsibility is very much high. A person should have the urgency to accept that. When a person is pushed down inside the water, how he feels, what is first requirement? He'll struggle to come up, to breathe the air. Otherwise, he prolongs, he'll die, he'll drown from the water. So he struggled hard to come up, to breathe the air. That much urgency we need to have to succeed in our life. Unless just dreaming will not help. Unless we start moving with the first step, we can never reach the destination. Thank you.
National people to know change of mindset unity. We were in that recently end. We had perhaps begging mentality for a long time. It's time for us to return and have a giving attitude. Now we have learned from the experts here that one of the main sources of bank survival is the deposits from the customers. If all of us become disciplined depositors and disciplined loanees, they will be much more happier. They want everybody to be loanees, but disciplined ones. Not that we are borrowers from banks, they will give a full stop there, but having borrowed from the bank, if we become ourselves disciplined, people to return our loans, they will be much more happier. Change of mindset. That is one of the significance of changing our mindset. Skin thank you everybody for being so patient and giving us the time to deliberate. And thank you experts, Dr. Amar, Mr. Amarjit, Dr. Bhimsen, and Mr. Attili for sparing your precious moments for the sake of Kumbhagung youth, Kumbhagung people here. Thank you so much. Over to our host.
A big thank you to the moderator and the panelists. We will now take a short break. The OCAN has prepared lunch for everyone, so I would like to request the panelists and the moderator to kindly lead us in the lunch session.